Mr. President,
Thank you, Press. Thank you. You guys, please. Thank you, Press.
Mr. President, any proof at all on the
Thank you.
wiretapping?
Thank you, Press.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much, Press.
Thank you. Please head out behind you. Thank you.
Are you going to provide any
Please.
proof?
She was very polite there. President Trump refusing to answer any questions from reporters on Russia this week after accusing Barack Obama last weekend of wiretapping Trump Tower during the 2016 campaign. And we're back now for one last go-around with the panel. Julie, this is a pretty dramatic shift for this White House. I want to put up the picture here. When the president signed the revised executive order this week banning travel from 6 countries, all they did was release this photo, but didn't let any reporters in. And officials there are now saying that since the House and Senate intelligence committees are investigating, that they will have no more comment on the president's charge. Julie, what's your sense? Do they have any evidence to back up the president on this charge about President Obama and wiretapping Trump Tower or not?
It doesn't appear as though they do. I think we'll wait to see if they turn anything over to the committee tomorrow. But most people at the White House would just like this to go away. The problem with that is that this was something that was raised by the president himself, which makes it pretty hard for both us in the media and the investigative committees on the Hill to just put this aside. But the way that they structured this week was so fascinating. I will give this White House credit for these opening weeks of the administration. We have had a lot of access to this president. He has a lot of events that are on camera. He does take shouted questions from reporters, but we did not get that opportunity this week. There's a press conference on Tuesday with Angela Merkel from Germany, hoping that we'll be able to ask these questions there.
She says with a bright smile. Michael, as Julie referred to, the House Intel Committee is asking the Trump administration for evidence by tomorrow to back up the president's claim that the previous administration wiretapped the phones at Trump Tower of candidate Trump. Is this put up or shut up time for this Trump White House?
Well, look, I think we should let the House do its investigation. There are a lot of absurd claims going around. There's absolutely no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians on the election. Maxine Waters earlier this week was saying some ridiculous things, that everything in that 35-page dossier that BuzzFeed posted was true. And so I think let's just let the investigation go forward, and then let's talk about it from there.
Well, and let's pick up on this, because we had another week of the FBI director, James Comey, walking all over the Capitol, meeting with top congressional leaders, and as you point out, still no word about any evidence of collusion between the original charge, the original, quote, scandal between the Russians and Trump world. Jason, is it possible, in fact likely at this point, that there's no evidence against Donald Trump and there's no evidence for Donald Trump when it comes to his charge?
Yes, it is possible. I mean, there's no evidence of direct collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, and there's no evidence that President Obama had any knowledge of directly wiretapping Trump Tower. So right now we have a clash of conspiracy theories right now, and I think the president is right to go silent on this issue until the committees can do their investigation. But it's probably something he shouldn't have raised in the first place, and he's got his whole staff scrambling now to come up with the evidence.
Juan, I mean, is it possible, because we have been spending an awful lot of time talking about Russia, talking about fallout from Russia and investigations, is it possible there's just no there?
No, there's there. I mean, we know the CIA, the National Security Agency, the FBI have all put their name, their stamp on a report that indicates Russia quite intentionally interfered.
But I'm talking about collusion.
Right. So
I'm talking about collusion.
Right. So when it comes to what the Trump campaign knew, what we can say is this: there was an astounding number of contacts between Trump administration, Trump campaign officials, Trump associates with Russians, some of which, as we know in the case of Flynn and now Attorney General Sessions, for some reason they didn't want to own up to these contacts.
But there's no evidence of any collusion.
Well, collusion is one way to put it, but interference is real.
Not with the Trump campaign. There's no evidence of that.
The election.
Nobody ever gets the last word here. Panel, thank you.